Hi everyone. All right, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about equations really quick. Um, the title of this is Creating and Using Equations in the Workplace. So you already kind of went over solving equations one step and two step at least in previous videos. So what I want to talk about today is more so application, like when would we actually utilize an equation. Now, some of the applications that we get into, some of the problems that we do, you might be thinking like, "Oh man, like I didn't need an equation to figure that out. What this seems pointless." But I do want you to know that I'm prepping you because we're eventually going to get to situations in this class or in the next math course that you might have to take that will be a little bit more complex, and using equations will actually be way easier than trying to figure the problem out without an equation. So we have to start somewhere. So we're going to start a little bit basic. So let's go down. Let's look at our first problem. All right. So you open a savings account because you want to ensure that you'll be financially stable down the road. When you open the account, you decide to deposit $450 immediately. Going forward, you plan on depositing $225 per month into the account. So here, the first thing we need to recognize or identify is what piece of this is unknown or can change. So in this situation, per month, we don't know how many months are going to go by, right? That's something that's consistently changing. So we're going to use a variable to represent that. So I just have let x equal the number of months, okay? And the word per can usually be a pretty good indication of what is unknown or what is changing, okay? So just look out for that. All right, so this goes back to previous content that we've already learned. Write an expression to represent your balance. So an expression, if you remember, does not have an equal sign, right? Equations have an equal sign. That's why it's partially important to understand the difference between the two. So we're starting with $450, and nothing's impacting that 450, so it doesn't have a variable with it. And then our account is going up because we're depositing, so depositing means to add, right? And it's going up by $225 per month. So we already indicated that X was going to represent the number of months. So we need to tie X in with the 225. So what needs to happen between the 225 and the number of months? Well, they would need to be multiplied, because if 2 months go by, well, that's 225 times 2. If 3 months go by, that's 225 times 3, right? So we need multiplication here. So we know if we just put the x next to the 225, that it insinuates multiplication. And that is your expression right there. Now you might be thinking, well, I thought we were going to talk about equations. That's coming right now. I just wanted to help you see that you already understood a lot of this. We just had to build on it. So how many months will it take for you to have $6,750 in your account? So now we're saying how many months? We're looking for X, right? Because X is number of months and it says how many months. So that's what we're looking for. So we're looking for what does X have to be to make this whole piece equal the 6,750. So it looks like this, 450 plus 225x equals 6,750. Something I do want to point out here is, because we've done similar situations like this in the past, where this question, the second question, instead of saying how many months will it take for you to have $6,750, instead of asking you what X is, it would tell you what X is. For example, it would say, after 5 months, how much would you have in your account? Meaning X is 5, right? So I just want to help you differentiate between these two possible situations. And now here, we just have an equation. We just need to solve for X. So subtract 450 from both sides. And you're left with 225X on the left side, 6,300 on the right side. Now we have to continue to get x alone. So 225 is being multiplied by x, so we need to do the opposite operation, which is division. So divide by 225. I'm just going to do this off to the side because I do not have it in front of me. So 6,300 divided by 225. You should get 28. And the unit is months. If this whole piece right here didn't make sense solving the equation, definitely go back and watch some of the other videos. Reach out to me. I can help you with equations. I kind of went through it a little bit quick just because this is something we've already covered. All right, next problem. So I don't know if you ever heard of the half plus 7 rule, but it's like a loose dating rule thrown around, more so in like the 90s, but I thought it would be interesting to put into play here. So the half plus 7 rule states that you can't date anyone younger than 7 years more than half your age. We'll come back to the end of that in a second, but basically what that means is like if you're 30 years old, well, half of 30 is 15, add on 7, that's 22. So if you're 30, by this societal rule, you couldn't date anyone under 22 or it would be frowned upon, right? So I thought that this would make an interesting equation because that's exactly what it is. So we're going to look into Jay-Z and Beyonce here. So Jay-Z shouldn't date anyone under 30 years old. So in this situation, let x equal, well, x is going to represent age, okay? Now, let's write an expression to represent the half plus 7 rule. So, well, first, to find half of something, so we need to find half of their age. To find half of their age, you divide it by 2, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, and I need to insert an equation to do this, is we need to take their age, which in this case we said was going to be x, because that can change, right? I'm 29 at the moment. Someone else could be 15, someone could be 30, someone could be 40 trying to use this rule, right? So it changes for everyone. The age is going to change. But we do know that consistently we need to divide by 2 for this rule. And then after we divide by 2, it says plus 7. So half, which we did, plus 7. So plus 7. And it says expression, so there's no equal sign, all right? So that is the expression. Now you're going to see this trend where the second problem, how old is Jay-Z if he cannot date anyone under 31? So they didn't give you Jay-Z's age. So they didn't give you X, okay? Jay-Z's age would be X. They just said he can't date anyone under 31, meaning this expression needs to equal 31 for Jay-Z. So I'm going to copy and paste this. My dog's currently sniffing underneath the door because he wants in on this. He's really interested in the half plus 7 rule. For himself, it changes for dogs, though. All right. Yeah, I laugh at my own jokes. So we need to set it equal to 31. So in this case, we always deal with whatever is with x with like division or multiplication last. So let's get rid of the addition and subtraction first. So plus 7, the opposite is subtract 7. So let's subtract 7 from both sides. And you get 24. All right, sorry, I was double checking my subtraction there. It's early, guys. All right, now x is being divided by 2, and we need to get rid of that divided by 2. So the opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. So we times both sides by 2. On the left side, that 2 just disappears because of it. You're left with x equals, and on the right side times by 2, you get 48. 48 years old. This is Jay-Z's age. And I wrote this problem a little bit ago, so I don't know if it's the same, if he's still the same age. We can take a second to figure out Jay-Z age. What a wonderful world we live in. He's 50. Okay, so it was 2 years ago. All right, let's move on. All right, so we basically got 5 minutes left on my timer here for 3 questions. Let's see what we can get through. I might have to create a new video, but all right. Insert text box. I don't know why there's not a text box here. Okay. So you and 2 friends are moving into an apartment together. The total cost for rent is $1,200. You have the biggest room and a walk-in closet. Therefore, you have agreed to pay double the rent. So whatever friend 1 and friend 2 pay, you're going to pay double. Okay. So in a situation like this, I always like to outline who's involved. So there's friend 1, there's friend 2, and then there's you. Now we need to work with what we know. So we just know that you pay double what friend 1 pays, right? You pay double what friend 2 pays. So if you knew friend 1 paid $100, that you would easily be able to figure out how much you pay, $200, right? So what I'm getting at is if you knew what friend 1 was equal to, you would be able to figure out what you are equal to. So let's call friend 1 X because we don't know what they're equal to. Friend 2, well, friend 2 pays the same amount as friend 1. So don't give friend 2 a different variable because they're the same amount. So they're both going to be X. Now you're double that. So double X is X times 2, right? Or as we typically will write it is 2X. All right. So now if we're talking about total cost, we have friend 1 who's X plus friend 2, who's X, plus you, who's 2X, right? That's our expression. And we know that this total needs to add up to $1,200. So this needs to equal $1,200. Now this equation kind of looks maybe complex for some people, but it's really easier than what it looks like because all of these things on the left side, all these variables, all these terms are like, they're like terms. They all have an X in them, okay? So this is like 1X plus 1X, which is 2X. 2X plus 2X is 4X. So you have 4 X's. Now this equation just got super easy. Nice one-step equation, right? So divide by 4, X equals $300. Now let's make sure we answer the question. So how much rent will you pay? Okay, so friend 1 pays X. That's $300. Friend 2 pays X. That's $300. You pay 2X. So you pay 2 times whatever X is, which in this case it's 300. So you're actually going to pay $600. And I'll put in friend 1 and 2 just so you know. Just for some consistency here. We're not going to get through all those problems, guys. So if you total these 3 values up, you should get 1,200, right? That's check number 1. Check number 2 is, are you double? Well, is 600 double 300? Yep. So you're good to go. All right, 1.5 minutes left. Let's make it happen. The president of a certain university receives triple the salary of a department head. The total of the 2 salaries is $200,000. Okay, so we know the president is triple the department head. So if we knew what the department head was, say the department head made $100, we know the president's triple, that's 300. So if you knew the department head, this would be easy. So let's make the department head X, okay? Because we don't know, right? And that would make the president 3X because it's triple, so it's times 3, right? Now let's I'm gonna create some space here. Let's come up with our equation. So our equation is gonna be the president makes 3X plus the department head makes X, right? Total their salaries up, and it should total to 200,000. So now, similar to the last question, we can combine like terms. So 3X plus 1X, because 1X and X are the same thing. It's 4X equals 200,000. Divide by 4 on both sides, and you get X equals 50,000, which means the salary for the department head is $50,000, and the salary for the president is 3 times that, which is $150,000. All right, guys. Hope you got something out of this.